match of contestants it'll be chosen at that time. The first matchup will be Cyril versus Arcane on Ephemerion.
Yeah, and then we'll have Zip versus Console Log, which will be on... What map is that? I don't see. Well, third match...
Zenelli.
Oh, I got you. Zenelli. Third match of the day is Mr. Sleep versus Is NP Complete. That'll be on Nightshade. And what's our last match of the day?
All right. Number 4 will be Nitrous versus Catfish on World of Sleepers. And then the ace match will be played on Eternal Empire if we make it that far. Hopefully. So, yeah. I'm Patch. I typically play on the Red Hat team, but today I decided to join these guys on the casting couch. Let some other people stand in on the lineup. With me, we have Big Tasato.
Yeah, glad to be here, and we will be rotating out. Eagle Searcher will be joining us in the next game.
Yep.
So,
yeah, Eagle ended up bringing us some barbecue over today. It was really good. Apparently he's a good pit cooker.
Yep, he is, and we're not just saying that because he's right here. It's actually good.
Totally are.
But no, it is in fact very delicious. So yeah, we're starting off with a PVT. No, sorry, we're not. That's not true. It is a ZVP because I will not be playing in the match. We'll be switching that out in a moment. So to have Zip in there, Cyril, Cyril in there. Confusing those Red Hat Zerg players. But yeah, so we're gonna start out with a nice ZVP on Ephemeron, which is actually to our documentation here is a very even map race-wise. There's no balance advantage to a certain race. So
a little bit about the teams. Red Hat Hatlings right now is 1-1 in the CEA series. Last week we saw a 5-game match. Red Hat losing that final one against Amazon Pain Forest. And then Facebook Lingstagram is as well 1-1. Last week they went 2-3 versus United E-Commerce. Looks like they lost that last alpha match as well against them. For anybody that doesn't know, the CEA is a corporate charity esports league where different companies get together and play video games against each other in a tournament style, and whoever wins gets money donated to their chosen charity.
Yeah, it's a good way for companies to raise money for the causes they care about, and the winner gets to send quite a bit of money the way to charity. So here we go. We are starting in game 1 today. Match 1 versus we have Cyril from the Red Hatlings versus Arcane from Facebook Lingstagram.
Yeah, Cyril's in the bottom right corner, and Arcane is the blue Protoss in the top left corner.
Yeah, I can see most of the time.
So far, forward pylon out of Arcane, somewhat normal, natural opening. Maybe it looks like he's going to be going for standard second base expansion.
Just the typical kind of setup in the beginning. Got to get your wall at your natural, prevent those Ling run by. So he's likely going to add another gateway and a cyber core. And we have again a pretty standard opening from Cyril. Get his expansion out, drone up, get that pool down soon, and we'll get started with this action today. So what are you? Do you have any guesses as far as what we might see today?
Honestly, no. Knowing that I was not going to be involved in the actual matches this week, I've kind of tried to keep everything neutral and not pay too much attention as to what's going on. So yeah, I'm hoping we'll see some standard play, maybe some little early pressure here or there, making it into at least the mid game. I don't know. I kind of like those competitive push-pull fights. No, I like to see him at least not get killed immediately and on an opening rush or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. Be good to see a good standard macro game to start off the day. get up to 200 supply armies, and really see a clash of the Titans. That's what we want.
Yeah.
So
looks like both Cyril and Arcane are diamond, so looks like it's mostly even matchup for them. So it hopefully should be a good match, good back and forth, and excited.
Yeah, now Cyril's Overlord is securing its spot in the Perv Perch, which, in case you were wondering, that is instance number 1 of us saying Perv Perch for the day. That is a place where the Overlord cannot be seen by your opponent and gives you excellent vision of their natural.
If you want, it's a common thing to have a drinking game of any time this group says Perv Perch. It's at least said once or twice a game.
Yeah, so we do have some Lings coming out, just 4 for now. Most likely just a scout. Probably not expecting to get much damage done. Does want to see what sort of tech and structures his opponent has set up, and there is a full wall in place, so those Lings are going to have to turn back.
Yeah, Stalker said, no, get out of my house.
Get out, not allowed, no access, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. But what do we have now? We have Twilight Council coming up, Shield Battery at the front, pretty typical defensive position, and tech options right now in the Robo Bay going down as well.
Why do you want a Shield Battery up front like that?
So, actually, if you have a Stalker in the hole there in the wall with a Shield Battery, you would be surprised how many Lings it takes to kill that Stalker. It's probably like 30. So it's just an excellent defensive tool for whatever you might have, and to hold down the front. And a lot of production structures going up too, so we might see some early aggression.
So it looks like we're on 2 bases so far for the Protoss, 3 bases for the Zerg. Curious here to see what's going on. We got a Roach Warren coming out for the Zerg as well. Looks like they're keeping it mostly ground at the moment. For both teams.
Yeah, one interesting thing we have, which is on our screen right now, is the DT Shrine. He's not even behind, but he's going for DT. Oh. So that's a pretty popular strategy against Zerg right now. Is that
Overlord going to see it, though?
It looks like it will, as there's nothing to cut its path off.
Oh, there it goes.
Does see it. So are we going to see... immediately we see a Spore going down from Cyril. So, most likely another one in his main base.
Stalker will push away that Overlord there. And looks like the 3rd base is going down for Arcane as well. Feeling a little confident about being able to expand out.
Yeah, pretty standard so far in the Starcraft universe. These players are just doing what they normally do.
Well, looks like he still doesn't have a gas on his main base, Cyril. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, it looks like he may be prioritizing some roach production, and it looks like he's...
because of Warp Prism with something in it for a drop.
We got 2 Archons in here, and so he's going to do some harass, most likely try to kill queens and drones. Doesn't want to fight a large pack of roaches. Not going to go well, but the beauty of that Warp Prism is he can get a lot done with a small amount of units.
Mm-hmm.
So
he does have an Overseer out on the map as well now, just to keep an eye on if any DTs are going to come out and around. Kind of just stave off any of that potential harassment from invisible units there.
Pretty typical. Got charge coming out from Arcane, and yeah, not a whole lot going on right now. So just some Lings just saying hello. Hey, I noticed you were moving to this part of town right now. Just wanted to let you know that I'm aware you're here, and we might be back.
Yeah. Something interesting to see though, so they seem to be a little even. Cyril's got a slight advantage in worker supply, but the army supply right now is drastically different between the two. Cyril almost 16, 18 over Arcane's army supply at the moment.
Yeah, for sure, and it's growing even more now. It's about to hit double. So a lot of that is in roaches, so it's not Some Ravagers, yes, but so it's not that out of the ordinary for the supply to be much higher. But it's all about the Protoss getting units that deal with it well. And do we have Immortals on the map? We do. Yes, we do.
Right.
I'm getting a signal that we do from Damn Glam. So he is well prepared to deal with that army composition.
Looks like Cyril's going to start moving out here for a potential offensive strike. Doesn't look like it's everything. Just going to poke out and say hi.
Checking for that fourth base. That would be a pretty aggressive fourth base. Does not see it. He's going to keep going in. Really got to get a good position set up here. He's going to charge right in, send those corrosive biles out on that pylon, trying to depower those two gateways. That would be a nice pickoff. It does need one more shot. So he's going to back up and just see what happens. Picks off a probe. And now he's kind of jockeying for position here. Doesn't want to get caught and surrounded. Does depower the pylon, which is pretty nice, as that significantly reduces the ability for Arcane to build production units. So
it looks like it has a redundant pylon there, though.
Oh, he does have a supporting pylon, excuse me. He's got one of those gateways is depowered. It is not a full Artosis pylon. No, that warp room is not paying attention. He's going to lose that. So it does take...
empty, though.
Yeah, but those are expensive. So he's going to start knocking down those rocks, and it looks like he's just testing the positioning of his opponent. Doesn't want to commit to a fight right now.
It looks like they'll successfully defend that fourth expansion. I can't tell if Cyril has his fourth or not building. If he does, it's done. So they're still kind of equal on bases. Kind of where the Protoss wants it to be. He doesn't want the Zerg to get too far ahead of him. But likewise, the Zerg doesn't want to get too far behind on bases as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like we are setting up for a late game battle here. Both players are very trepidatious about committing to a large fight. It looks like we might have Cyril coming in now. See if he does want to commit, which has not happened yet. So he's going to take down these rocks. Doesn't want to make a pathway. Yeah, the Lings do get in the main, which is really nice. We get a wrap around on these charge lots and get some good damage on the probes.
Let's take out the pylon, keeping everything running.
Yeah, this is a very interesting position here. Get some nice corrosive biles on the Protoss army. That army's being funneled through this narrow choke. The storms are very nice. Land some storms, land some more corrosive biles as well. So the armies are whittling down, but we look at the army supply is actually pretty even. But it does clean up. Keep in mind, Cyril's full army was not over here. So some economic damage taken, but pretty even.
Opened up a sizable lead in the worker difference there, while still keeping a about equal army. So it looks like Cyril was able to at least gain a little bit of an advantage in that move.
Yeah, he did burn a lot. If we look over to the bottom right of our screen, we can see he did burn a lot more resources as opposed to his opponent. So that's something. If the game goes long, it may matter. As of right now, it's not that big of a deal because he does have a large mineral bank. Yeah, Protoss army looks like it is moving out. So
it looks like the Zerg army is kind of going off to the top right there. The army's dancing around each other a little bit. Cyril looks like he's going in to take down that fourth base again. That
one battery has its work cut out for it. The hero battery does... One battery, yes. So this base is definitely dead, but we might have a base trade situation here. We'll see. The Protoss does have the ability to recall back to its base, keep in mind.
Ooh.
So you may want to just get as much damage as you can and go back. The Zerg cannot do that. So that's one difference to point out.
So far the base is 1-1. A Arcane recall to that third base there. It looks like he's going to be successful in potentially defending it, maybe. Which will put Cyril down sizably 3-2 in the base count.
Yeah, some solid storms, some solid corrosive biles from the Ravagers. However, Arcane is going to push him back, and we do see a supply difference opening up. Yeah. It's mainly an army. Their economies are actually very similar. But yeah, we look at the workers lost tab. much more was lost for Cyril than for Arcane. So that is going to make a difference. When you have a larger army, you're incentivized to go fight right now, right? So rather than if you have an economic advantage, you're kind of incentivized to let the game play out. Regardless, he is attacking. So I'm eating my words, just like this barbecue.
That is some good barbecue. The words, not so much. So yeah, Cyril just trying to play defensively here, kind of keep Arcane from opening up any more advantage, while trying to rebuild his economy. It looks like Arcane's going to kind of get in here, deny that Nexus or hatchery Nexus. It's not Protoss, it's Zerg.
Yes, exactly, and he does know he has an advantage. I mean, 3 bases to 2. Cyril is coming in for committing to this fight. Some very good storms go down, and it is over. There's the GG. Facebook, Lingstagram will take game 1 of the match.
Glad to see the barbecue's making its appearance today.
Yeah, we probably have to have a drinking a note for any time barbecue gets mentioned as well. So, but yeah, that was game 1. It was nice to see a game play out a bit longer, 13-minute game, and so got to see some large armies and some big battles. Always like Pisonic Storms and some Corrosive Vials. So, yeah, match 1.
All right.
Bear with us. We're going to take a momentary break and update a few things in the stream. We'll be right back for game number 2.
Mike. All right, folks, welcome back. We're about to go into match number 2 for our series today between the Red Hatlings and Facebook Lingstagram. I am Eagle Searcher, joining the couch now with Patch. That was a pretty good game 1.
That was. I said I hoped it would go into a nice little mid-game situation, late game. Nice little macro army there. It's kind of fun to watch. Good one to open up on. Kind of get the tone set right for everybody.
Yeah, we hate to see the home team lose, but we have a chance now. We got our match number 2, Zip versus Console Log. Zip's going to try to even up the series.
He's got his work cut out for him, though. Zip right now ranked a diamond versus Console Log, who is ranked a masters. As we saw kind of like last week, where I had to go punch above my weight class a little bit there against the masters, and some really funny stuff came out. So I've never died to that many probes before. So
that was an interesting game of Starcraft. I'm pretty sure it was Starcraft. But we're going now into game number 2, starting in the lower left corner from the Red Hatlings, Zip.
And starting up in the top right corner for the Lingstagram, it is Console Log as a barcode count.
Barcodes. Of course, those barcodes help hide your identity on the ladder so someone doesn't know who they're playing. I'm not sure that it matters a whole lot in Masters. I've never been there myself, so I can't really comment. Just a little bit of good manners coming out from our players, the GLHF.
It was good sportsmanship, mutual respect between each other, like any competition. You want to just... Sorry, I froze up there. You just want to have that camaraderie, stay on a light, positive competition front, not a negative hatred competition front. This is for charity, after all.
That's right. Now, a little bit of differences already coming out. So a lot of times in our mirror matches, we can see identical things, identical timings from both players. But Zip going ahead and getting that hatch down a little bit earlier, hatch and extractor, while our barcode player, Console Log, opting to get a couple of more drones out first. Zip does have the spawning pool started, pulls the extractor trick, just trying to get a little bit more supply out. Looks like he's just trying to cut all the corners he has, knows that he has to punch up a little bit, but we'll see if he has something special planned for Console Log.
So far, in my mind, you can go one of two ways trying to take down a bigger opponent, right? You go for the straight shot, the one shot, one kill situation where, you try to do an early rush or a cheese build, really catch them off guard, keep them from discovering it, and really just overwhelm them out of the gate. Or, you try to find some type of timing situation where you can take advantage of that early difference between damage output and army supply and really get something done. It's kind of hard to do in these mirror matches.
Oh, yeah. But we do. I'd say this is a little unusual to see so much deviation between these two players. Zip already getting link speed started as Console Log's pool finishes. And just a comment here on Console Log. Console Log, sort of a floater between the two Facebook teams in CEA this season. Of course, the Zuckerzergs sitting in the seeded division. Our four high seed teams play each other in sort of a round robin format, while the rest of the teams are in a Swiss tourney type of format. Console Log has played for the Zuckerzergs the first 2 weeks, but is coming down to, I guess, what could be called the B team.
Yeah.
Just trying to secure a win for him this week.
Yeah, but I guess that kind of speaks to how they view the Hatlings more than anything. If he's got to step down to fight,
that's right. It's a serious commitment.
Yeah, I at least personally, maybe selfishly, want to view it as validation of what the rest of the CEA field views the Hatlings as.
But speaking of viewing, we have our Zerg Lings coming across the map very quickly, taking advantage of the gaps there in the mineral line walls. But that Queen holding the gap as those
Queen
minerals are just...
Looks like it's going to go down, though.
Yeah, it's tough.
Trying to keep him
losing a lot of Lings. There's so many Lings coming across the map for Zip, but that layer is finishing.
Oh, and he gets in.
And the Lings are in. Roaches are in production. He's going to need to bring a lot of army really quick in order to stop this. Already targeting the spawning pool. It's about halfway down. That wall.
About to go down.
The Roach Warren's almost down. The Evo pool is down. I guess he did not stop the Evo. It's burning if Zerg buildings could burn.
Flesh burns. It smells bad, but it burns.
Just a lot of damage coming down out of Zip. Taking the supply lead. The Spine Crawler does finish, but there are so many Lings here. He should be able to finish it. It's very low on health. Killing the roaches that come in to support. A lot of very low health drones. And there's the GG! And that evens up the series between Red Hat and Facebook. 1-1 now as Zip knocks out the Masters player from Lingstagram.
Like I said, there's one or two ways to do that, and Zip just came out of the gate with that slingshot, just really tried to take down that Goliath in one shot, one kill.
Yeah, that was
got it done.
That was a very strong timing, just very well executed. You could tell, very well practiced from Zip. Sort of knew all his little tricks. Did the extractor trick to squeeze out a little bit more supply to buy him some time to get that Overlord out. Having that slightly earlier hatch gave him an advantage on link speed. Allowed him to get more larva going quicker. Get his queens out quicker, just able to really ramp up the aggression very fast, whereas Console Log was really focused on sort of transitioning into that mid-game, getting the roach count, and just came in a little too late.
Yeah, it happens. Console Log did a good job trying to defend it. He got that queen out there to block that run by, keep the Lings out of the base for as long as he could. It just, in this particular situation, it just was a little too much, got overwhelmed. And Zip got in and kind of just overwhelmed everything.
Yeah, it was a pretty good wall. He did have it fully walled on the right and the queen blocking on the left, but it was just so much aggression coming out of Zip. So we're now setting up our third game.
So it'll be Mr. Sleep versus Is NPC Complete. A little bit of a mathematics / software engineering little turn of phrase there. NPC complete being a type of problem. That is
NP complete.
NP complete. Yes. Sorry, my brain's reading 2 C's when there's only one. Shouldn't have stayed up so late playing Starcraft last night.
That's right. But we got a few wins out of it, so it doesn't hurt. Of course, NP complete referring to the ability to determine whether or not this problem is solvable. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a ZVP. So very similar to our first match, which we saw Arcane triumph over Cyril. We'll see if our Hatling, Mr. Sleep, can turn it around and maybe reverse the results of the first map. It is going to be on Nightshade. Nightshade is slightly favored towards Zerg, according to SC replay stats, but we'll see. Once again, Red Hat's going to be punching up a little bit in the rankings. Mr. Sleep, typically a sort of platinum level player against NP Complete. He's a diamond.
Depending on the day, I'd say Mr. Sleep could be considered a diamond at times.
Right. Certainly a player who throws a lot of big, scary armies out. Of course, as you'll notice on the screen there, NP Complete is actually tagged hello in StarCraft. Has that battle tag. Just maybe a little bit of mix-up in terms of goes by a couple of different tags. But starting off our game here in the lower right, wearing the pink trucks for Facebook, it is Hello, better known as Is NP Complete.
All right, in the top left corner, we have Mr. Sleep for the Hatlings, and we'll be passing it off to Big Tasano this time.
All right. A ZVP once again. So, what do you think is going to happen?
I'm predicting big armies and a lot of things dying.
A lot of things dying, yep. It's pretty likely in the game of StarCraft. It's pretty hard to play the game of StarCraft without things dying. You can not have units die. Technically, you just have a lot of buildings die. The players want to, just arrange that type of situation.
Mm-hmm. Now, I have seen maps where, for example, one player doesn't have an army supply. Perhaps just really focused on peace. Just building workers, wants to build a better future even.
That's right. And at times like these and tried times when the world is quite concerned, why not just kill the buildings? Just leave the players to sit outside and enjoy that fresh air.
Because clearly buildings are the most important thing in StarCraft. Of course, you do not lose until every building is destroyed.
That is correct. So, pretty
typical.
typical.
Does that theoretically mean you could have a game where you only killed their buildings and left their army alone?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Will it happen is the question.
Yes. And we did see that macro hatch coming down. Maybe a little bit of interesting move there from Mr. Sleep. But on equal bases right now, both the Zerg and the Protoss opting for that similar timing on the natural. Of course, Zerg wants to be one base up. So maybe falling a little bit behind on the econ.
Yeah, it is pretty telling on what the Zerg's going to do based on the timing of that third base. So we can see he's not planning on it. He is planning on flooding the map with Lings right now. And Ling speed also started. So looking like early aggression is very much coming.
And the Overlord sitting there in the perv perch is going to see everything that comes out of that Protoss base.
Take your drink.
Keeping eyes on from that window, which cannot be seen back through. Very safe position.
Yeah, so just 4 Lings coming across the map. It does get seen by the Adept shading in if he was paying attention. A Baneling nest is coming down, so we might be seeing a bust of the front is what it looks like to me.
That's right. But that Adept just continuing on across the map probably wants to get a little bit of scouting information. Notably, nothing in the wall right now. Those Lings could run right through. We are seeing a lot of Lings coming out. That Adept's going to walk right into the main, though. Decides the scouting mission is more important than picking off workers, but more and more Lings, just tons of Lings flooding out for Mr. Sleep. These Lings back at home are going to be able to chew up that Adept, but looks like we're going to have a big bust coming in at the front with a handful of Banelings in production. Nothing at the wall. Does get some buildings down very quickly. But those Lings are going to start chewing up those front buildings.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of defense coming in. The Banelings are approaching, and this is looking pretty good for Mr. Sleep. We're going to see how much damage they take. He pulls the Banelings back incorrectly, but going to slam down that cyber core, knock open the wall. He does have another layer to get through. Clashed into the pylon, and there are no more Banelings left. So,
notably enough, though, they did have just enough time to finish Warp Gate as those two gateways transform. But it may not be enough. Does have the sentry there to put down the wall. Not a very good position for him. Is in front of the wall, but couple of zealots are going to try to hold the line. But just a lot of Zerglings sitting there chewing. 2 gateways down now. The third gateway waiting to finish. It does have the cyber core coming back up with that shield battery. It's going to be very easy to defend, but that shield battery needs something to target.
And now the Lings are, of course, in the natural. They are flooding from both sides. Probes are about to go down. The army's being chewed away. This is looking very good for our Red Hat player. I'm thinking he's got to abandon this base and just haul up in the main is about all I can see working at this point.
Yeah, the only problem with that is there's no production up in his main. It is, well, excuse me. Never mind. There's the GG from Lingstagram. So with that, 2 Zergs from Red Hat living up to the Red Hatling name, leading the series now 2-1.
Yeah, we're having a couple of fast-paced games here in game 2 and 3, and you've seen it there. They did not want to take the game very far. Did not want to go towards our plan of just having a peaceful interaction about killing off the structures and letting everyone survive to tomorrow. No, this was war, and it ended pretty brutally. So Red Hat's going to take the lead 2-1 in the match, and that brings us to match number 4.
Yeah, and that was actually kind of an interesting game. Mr. Sleep maybe has a reputation for not that style of build, really. Generally known as a little bit more of a macro player, likes to take the game a little bit slower, get into the later game, and just sort of crush you with a massive unit count.
Yeah, but today he felt like something different.
Yeah.
So bear with us a minute. We're going to get our stream ready for the next game, and we'll be right back with game number 4. So yeah, here we are. We have swapped out our casting team. I've got Patch with me now. Eagle Searcher will be back if we have an ace match, which I hope we do.
Everybody's favorite high-tech redneck over here.
That's good, man.
That's disputable.
He is the one that came with 5 pounds of barbecue, so.
But I came with beer.
It's debatable.
Yeah. I said I was the favorite.
I brought the barbecue.
Anyway.
It looks like these two need to have a match of StarCraft right now to settle this. So, but yeah, we're going to get off to Game 4.
It looks like it's going to be Nitrous versus Catfish. Kind of don't know if he's a diamond or not. His name is Catfish. He may be a Grandmaster hiding as a diamond here.
Yeah, what kind of trickery we have going on here?
So Nitrous is a Terran, Catfish is a Protoss.
I mean, you could say he is catching predators in a certain way in this game. So, yeah. I'll save my controversial humor for another time. But anyway, yeah, I'm really hoping we go to Game 5 here, just to see more StarCraft. But, you know, this is the Red Hatlings. This is the Red Hatlings stream.
There's the side of me that wants Nitrous to just, like, steamroll him. Not going to lie. But there's the casting/viewership angle that, you know, I was like, you know what? Let's just have more StarCraft.
Yeah, it's...
the world needs more StarCraft.
There you go. Especially right now.
Yeah.
That's really what the world needs.
We need more sit at home watching TV style entertainment, a little more dynamic, something you're not used to watching. So I think StarCraft could be it. 2020, the year of the StarCraft resurgence.
That's right. It is definitely time. Yeah, maybe Shopify is going to announce their own WCS circuit tour.
Looks like Shopify wants to get into everything. So, for those that don't know, Shopify is sponsoring a collegiate series of CEA, where it's actually individual college students who are playing for scholarship money or something. I forget.
Yeah, I believe so. Yep. So yeah, Shopify is saving esports while saving StarCraft in particular in 2020. Yep. They did double the prize pool at Home Story Cup last fall, which was very cool to see. So all the support our players need, and looks like we're about to get started though.
I will say though, after this, if you are hankering for more StarCraft after we're done, hop on over to Fear Dragon's stream. He's the one who's been streaming all the CEA collegiate stuff in the afternoons. And you can watch all the college players play their StarCraft. But don't tune away yet.
Yeah, not yet, because we definitely have a game to watch right now. At least one. So we're going to be loading up into the game. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing this TVP, the first one of the day. So you're a Terran player, Patch. How are you feeling about the T versus P matchup? Right
I hate it.
So
straight up, it's my worst matchup. Every time on ladder I'm playing against the Protoss, I die.
Okay, there you go. You heard it from the source itself. So he hates the matchup, wants to see it deleted from the game. I think I see him writing an email to David Kim as we speak, and we'll see what he can do.
All right, so as we get in the game here, in the top right corner, we have Nitrous playing for the Red Hat Hatlings, who are currently up 2-1.
And in the lower left, we have Catfish playing for Facebook's Lingstagram team. Excuse me. So
yeah.
Whoa. Okay, what is this?
Was that a hidden gateway?
That is definitely a gateway in the back of your base. Not a typical place to build it. But, you know, when you don't want to waste any time at all, that's where you build it.
And it looks like Nitrous is already getting prepared in case any cannon rush happens. Going ahead and walling off the base right out of the gate. I do that a lot if I'm worried about a Ling rush. I personally haven't done it too much in PvT, but, you know, Will or Damglam over here tends to give us PTSD when cannon rushes, so, you know.
We've been taught very strongly to fear the cannon rush. So he is going to scout and see the full wall by Terran. Not very unusual. But what Nitrous seems to be doing, you can see, is hiding. If we go back to his base for a moment, he is hiding some major production. So you know, there's a distance that you can see in the base here. It's called Fog of War, for anyone who doesn't know. And if you build your buildings back far enough, that probe cannot see what is behind that base. So, yeah, we're going to have some excitement.
That's quite a bit of barracks there. It looks like Nitrous is probably going to go for some early rush. And this is somewhat what I've been starting to do on ladder that's starting to work for me. We kind of saw it last week where I've taken a pro timing build that I found on the internet on Zombie Grub's channel, and I started learning it and adopting it where, I can show up at the enemy's base with preferably 1-1 combat shields and stim on a bio army. It's pretty effective. So all that said, meaning that an early bio push against Protoss is one of the few things that can give you the upper hand in a game. And I'm hoping we get to see a good one here.
Yeah, and he is opting for the straight-up Marine production. As you can see, there are no add-ons on these barracks. This is a 4 racks, all in, basically. You look at the worker count. He is not continuing to build SCVs. It's going to be interesting.
But okay, speaking of worker count, I got worker and army counts mixed up.
It's
here.
all good, man. But the good news is we have a battle starting. So
yeah,
there's about 12, 14 Marines there on their way to Catfish's base. He is not going to be caught off by this Catfish. Going to check the credentials, check the age, sex, location of this person, and find out really what's going on.
I mean, yeah, you'd expect someone named Catfish to be able to defend against the Catfish. But yeah, these Marines are going to just kind of walk over here. These Stalkers are going to kind of pick them off one by one, though. Good walking across mechanic here. Good stuttering from the Stalkers. Going to kind of keep it defended here for a minute.
Yeah, so one thing about Stalkers versus Marine, when Marines do not have stim, Stalkers can, if you micro them properly, they can get free hits in on the bio, all bio, really, until stim finishes and you get concussive shells, and then that equation changes. But for now, the Stalkers do have the upper hand. So it is going to force Nitrous to get back. Stim's about halfway done. He's maybe sort of reassessing what kind of timing he wants to do.
Yeah, I was a little interested in it, but that early push can sometimes really give you if the opponent's not prepared for it, not ready for it. So, but again, we have a nice big old chunk of meat bags, looking like they're gearing up to become meat bags again.
Definitely do, and they got their drugs about ready to kick in and get that extra boost you need to get across the map. That is a long distance, everybody. If you're a Marine, that's like running a 5K right now. Come on. So they're just hup going down there, and we're going to see the Observer does see everything, and yeah, no surprises.
Looks like Catfish will actually go ahead and also move out a little bit with the army to try to get that engagement away from the base. Get at the top of that ramp there. Again, successfully pushes back Nitrous.
Yeah, and every second that he does push back Nitrous is advantage to Catfish, because look, it speaks for itself. If you look at the mini map, he has 2 bases, but Nitrous is going to regardless push up the ramp, get pushed back, some nice force fields, killing a few Marines. And again, every second that this attack does not happen is advantage for Catfish.
Yeah, I'd say at this point, Nitrous probably should go ahead and get a second base. It looks like Catfish is really getting his second up and running. Nitrous is still on 1 base, despite having 31 workers already. So he probably wants to go ahead and expand out, maybe expand twice. Stim is ready, though. Nitrous pushes in. See how this engagement goes. There's a lot of shield batteries.
There sure is, and there's a lot of armored units, and we have no Marauders in this army. So this is looking pretty bad for Nitrous. I hate to say it, but he's going to most likely have to come up with a plan B if he has time to.
Yeah, it looks like we're finally getting that second expansion out from Nitrous. The one thing he has been effective at so far is keeping Catfish away from the base. But it looks like that probe was also never, from early in the game, never actually dealt with down here in the bottom right of the natural.
That's right, and there is an observer, as we just saw, standing right over the natural, so it sees everything that's going out. It's going to see every movement out of the base. It's a very nice position. Nitrous has got to do something about that.
I mean, on paper, these armies are kind of even if you just look at like supply counts, and on paper their worker counts are even, economy minus not having a natural for nitrous, but when it comes to the battle, Catfish has units that are just a little bit better versus these bio units.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Marines are good, but you got to have other things, particularly Marauders and at this point in the game, Medivacs. Yeah. So you can see how hurt a lot of his army is. I mean, they can be one-shotted so easily, and it changes real fast.
Is there a factory out yet at all for nitrous? Or are we just on barracks?
I believe there's a factory. Yes, there is. Completed factory with Tech Lab. But he does not have a starport even started, it looks like, which is what he really needs to get going. He needs to heal up that army, especially with that Colossus out. One beam is going to send those Marines to the grave. So, yeah.
I mean, there's enough of them that hopefully we'll be able to get a decent enough concave, pop off one stem, especially with combat shields coming out. A single stem would put them back at regular health, so they could at least, in theory, have a little more damage output for the same life.
That is true. That's true.
But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, but Nitrous is gonna need to make something happen soon. If he just sits back and plays the game standard, it's probably not going to go well for him. So the tank coming out is a good sign. He can set up a siege position and
looks like he might be moving out again. Oh,
sure is.
A Marauder, at least, bringing up the rear there. Looks like Catfish is just going to hang out in the front again, kind of wait for this army to show up, or kind of keep it away from the third base, it looks like.
Yeah, so a key part of when you're fighting bio is having splash damage, and you can see that's what those Colossus are for. So they're coming in, they're going to get some easy damage down, push back this bio army. The Guardian Shield goes up, Force Field divides the army. Nitrous does do a nice stim in. He's really got to take out these Colossus, though, because those are the biggest danger to his army, and he's not going to, unfortunately. So this is looking like a total stop.
Ooh, that's a lot of meat bags on the ground. A lot of red on the floor there. He almost got the Immortal, though, it looked like.
He did, but that's about all we can say about that. He did almost get the Immortal. You're right, he did.
You got to find the little wins, right?
You know, right? You're right. You got to find the little wins. But I think he does have a chance if he plays this just right. He's definitely gonna get that siege tank sieged and in the back, not right there where it is. So we'll see what he does. Again, Catfish is seeing everything right there with that observer that's right off to the upper left there. So no surprises as to what he's facing.
And here comes Catfish's attempt to walk into the base. Will he be able to successfully repel it? It looks like he pushed in a little too far in, away from the siege tank range.
Nitrous has got to do something out of the ordinary now to make this happen. Either that or Catfish has to click on Nitrous's base by accident and run his army by his entire army.
I don't know. There is like 30-something SCVs at this natural. If he pulled all the boys, there might be a chance.
That is right. He does need to pull the boys. But he's not going to pull the boys. So
that's 3 Colossi now. Looks like he's able to start warping in. And there's the GG. Facebook, Lingstagram will take this one, tie up the match 2-2, and we will be going into that 5th game.
That's right. We are here at the Ace match. So, lucky to anyone who's watching, you get more Starcraft. Red Hat perhaps was not hoping for that result. But nonetheless, here we are.
I mean, I will say, it's difficult, really, when your first push fails, especially when you've committed so heavily to being able to turn out so much bio on such a level, that if that first push fails to do enough damage, it can be kind of hard to transition out of it into something that can actually win you the game. I think he did a valiant effort of trying to stick with what he was doing and keep it going and making it work for him as long as he could.
Yes, that is true, yes. He really did the best of that situation. His production was very good. He really just kept pumping Army out. But, Catfish played it well, so he shut it down. But we're going to pause for a moment and get ready for our ace match. And Eagle Searcher will be back with us.
It'll be the duo of the high-tech rednecks for the favorite.
They're going to be talking about barbecue and home-cooked barbecue and homemade beer. And you'll be seeing which one wins out. So we'll be right back.
All right, and we're back. I am Eagle Searcher on the couch with Patch going to game number 5. I'm pretty excited about this. What about you, Patch?
I mean, like I said earlier, I wanted to see 5 games from a casting standpoint. Really excited to see what both of these guys bring to the table. This is it. This is for all the marbles. No holds barred, no stops, no punches pulled. Just going all out, all at it, just going crazy for it, Starcraft.
All right, it's everybody's favorite guessing game. Who do you think are going to be our aces?
That is an interesting question. I wonder if they will play console log from the Facebook team.
From Lingstagram.
Linkster, there you go. Tongue-tied. Sorry. That happens every once in a while. I wonder if they'll play console log, but, the idea may be that we may play Zip, and if they play Zip in console log, we'll have a repeat of game 2, so there's some mind tricks going there.
Okay, well, interesting. We're actually now just getting the results from our teams. It looks like Red Hat is opting with Cyril, and Linkstagram, I believe, is opting with console log, our barcode player. So what do you think about this matchup, Patch? It's not quite maybe the rematch of Game 2 that we expected, but Cyril, Cyril lost his first game, so it's an interesting choice from Red Hat.
It is. Well, I mean, I'm trying to remember the first game. I think it was a little bit of a competitive fight there. Cyril did a good job. I think just the Protoss gained just a minor edge there and took it out. But again, this is a mirror match. Whenever you have those EVZ, especially, things can get interesting. Different strategies can come out because the standard play is such the same, and none of the early Zerg units really have air defense capabilities except for the Queen.
Yeah, the difficult part of the mirror match, of course, is that since both sides can build the same units, where do you get your advantage? Do you try to maybe squeeze out a few less Lings, transition to Roaches earlier, maybe get the Banelings out to try to win the Ling wars? There's sort of these very, very small, tight efficiency gains that the players can use, and we'll see what happens here. Cyril, I think we've seen so far this season, has opted for some of the longer-term strategies. Console Log, obviously in the game that we saw earlier today, lost to the heavy aggression from Zip.
Yep. I'm curious if heavy aggression will work again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, and all that. But like you said, it's something that Cyril doesn't typically do. So if they've done their research and they see that out of Cyril, they may feel a little more comfortable that he won't do it. Therefore, again, gaming the meta of the meta here. Cyril might be able to take advantage of that and pull something out of his pocket early that they're not expecting.
Yeah, and once again, maybe harkening back to our team names, we have the Red Hatlings and Facebook Lingstagram. So it seems only appropriate as we go into game number 5, our ace match, the one that's going to take home all the marbles, that it's a ZVZ.
Yes. The duel of the titles, it'll really show... Wow, stumbling.
Too much beer.
It's all good, though, because...
Too much beer in queue.
Because we're going into game number 5. Get hyped, folks. This is free Starcraft. This is the game to take the series. Facebook, Lingstagram versus the Red Hatlings. Tied 2-2. Going to game number 5.
Number 5. There's this barbecue fest, or there was something called Beer, Bourbon, and Barbecue I remember I used to go to. Sorry,
all right. Starting game number 5, though, in the lower left corner, wearing the green trunks for the Red Hatlings, it's Cyril.
All right, in the top right corner for the Linkstagram, it is good old barcode, Mr. Console Log.
All right, so starting off this game, very similar so far. Both sides electing to build Overlords and Drones.
Overlords and Drones, Overlords and Drones. When are they going to build something other than Overlords and Drones?
Probably when they hit about 16 supply.
Probably.
Seems to be pretty standard. But notably, we're not seeing any sort of 12 pool. Nothing too crazy out of them. Both sides maybe opting to play a very standard game here. As we see Console Log moving his drone down, ready to take that hatch as soon as he hits 300. And clockwork on the other side, Cyril drops his as well.
And we're literally seeing why they're called mirror matches here. If you took a line straight from the top left to the bottom right, it is a complete 180-degree rotation of what's happening in the other corner.
That's right. But so it may be. Of course, we did see some differences in the earlier game too, VZVZ. But maybe Cyril not opting for that cheesy early build. We may get into later game, see some of the intricacies of the Zerg versus Zerg matchup. Obviously, once you start getting some gas involved, moving into airplay, banelings, mutas, all kinds of fun things can happen.
I didn't know you could Apple AirPlay in StarCraft.
It's sort of a new technology. Not much of an Apple person myself, so I don't actually know what that is, but...
It was just a play on words, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be that irreverent silliness, picking up on those words. Sometimes I'll fail. I'm sorry. Just cringe and go stupid dad jokes.
It's fine. Patch, just win some games.
Yeah.
You win more games, you don't have to join us on the casting couch. I'm not sure what's worse.
Yeah. I don't know. My heart's in the casting, though, right? A year ago, I started when we were doing this. I was the one mainly running the stream, organizing.
Fantastic
all that.
job, mind you. Keep in mind, folks, I don't think it's been mentioned before. Patch was our man behind the scenes last season, did a fantastic job on the tech setup, having the stream running like a champ, week in and week out. We've moved to a slightly different setup now with Patch on the couch.
We actually have an actual couch.
Yeah, it does help the rapport a little bit to be in person, but what's not going to help the rapport is when these lings meet up in the middle of the map. A few of Cyril's lings crossing the map, maybe get an idea of what Console Log is doing, while Console Log gets a couple of his lings in the natural of Cyril.
There we go. Cyril's going to kind of poke in, and there's already a wall. Looks like Console Log learning from the last game, going ahead and getting that static D up early.
But it's not a wall. Anyway, so the two Evo chambers down for Console Log, while Cyril maybe a little indecisive about what he wants to transition into. Console Log already getting the Roach Warren and the hatch nearly complete, while Cyril's just got his Roach Warren started. About to finish Ling Speed, though. So there might be a very small window. Both sides opting to start ranged weapons at the same time. Roach Warren has finished for Console Log. Roach Warren just now going down for Cyril. So even though there was a slight difference there, by the time it gets down, the rubber hits the road, looks like both players will probably end up with the same army composition. But Cyril, with a little bit maybe later on that Roach Warren, did use that slight efficiency to get his third hatch down. That third hatch, it's going to give him more larva, give him more production, and it's just going to put him slightly ahead of his opponent.
Yeah, and even in these mirror matches, you know, being up, you want to be up more bases than your opponent as much as you can. It's like Eagle said, it's going to give you a bit of an econ and production acceleration for Zerg, and
yeah, I mean it's just a good advantage, and as we can see so far, worker count for Cyril about 10 higher than Barcode. That's going to give him about a 30% increased revenue. And as everybody knows, more money, well,
less
more problems. For your opponent, at least. But Barcode opting to start pumping out those roaches does have that army lead. About 10 more supply and army. That's about 5 roaches. And everybody knows roaches don't die easily.
Nope. I try to get rid of them sometimes at the house, and they look at me right when I spray them with bug spray and go, nope, goodbye.
Yeah, but now the roaches are moving into the natural for Cyril. Took a look at that third hatch and decided to move along. We do have one Ravager in the back, hoping to get some free shots down with that Corrosive Bile. But just so many roaches here for Barcode. Cyril going to try to defend, does land another Bile. A lot of units in the red there, kind of hard. It does have to pull the boys. Needs to pull off a miracle here, and bringing the spine crawlers across the map. Big ball move here from Console Log. He can get those planted. That'll be an incredible defensive position for him to sort of entrench himself. But loses one spine crawler. Is going to try to reburrow the second one. But those roaches are on the mark. Do shoot it down. Very good defense here from Cyril, pulling just enough between the workers and the defensive advantage at home to deflect that. But more and more roaches coming across the map for Console Log. Is going to start working down that hatch. Looks like that hatch might fall.
Yep, it's already bleeding out. Already an army lead here is snowballing for Console, while Cyril does have a sizable worker lead. Hopefully Cyril can just hold on long enough for his production to kick in and kind of make up that army lead difference.
Does pull the boys again long enough to get the roaches knocked back. Roaches do poke in again, and as that spine crawler gets one poke in on him, able to take that hatch down. Cyril just hoping to rally as many units as he can. Haven't been able to deal with this roach problem. Seems like he might need some bug spray.
Yeah, I mean, I do find that bug spray is kind of helpful. Weakens the bug just enough, get them away from you, get them to go back home. Maybe take it home and kill the rest.
Still losing buildings now. That is tragic for Cyril. Losing his Roach Warren, has to put another one down immediately. It's going to be very difficult for him to stop this with just Lings.
Yeah, the supply lead's really starting to snowball here. Cyril's trying a valiant effort to defend this here. Pulls the boys yet again. Doing some good work chopping away, but Cyril's down to 26 armor supply at the moment.
Losing lots of workers as it is. The worker supply counts almost
And
even.
there it is.
And there's the GG. Valiant effort from our Red Hatlings, but Facebook able to just squeeze it out in our ace match. Lingstagram takes the series 3-2.
It was at least a good fight. It was an exciting one to go out on. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Really good for a mirror match. Sometimes mirror matches can get a little boring, so that was great that we had some excitement.
Well, ZVZ usually gets a lot of excitement. One player tends to tends to want to be a little bit more aggressive. And in this case, Console Log building a lot of roaches early on, whereas Cyril opting for that third base. Console Log did a very good job identifying a window he could get in and do damage, neutralize the advantage that Cyril was trying to create in the later game. Just very well executed.
And it kind of just goes to show the differences in gameplay between the skill levels. I mean, Cyril was a diamond, Console Log's a master. Usually in the master level, you can identify those windows and take advantage of them a little better than a diamond player can. I would say Cyril, like I said, did a very valiant job of trying to hold on and defend it.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he was able to deflect those first couple of attacks. The roaches, I'm not sure. I can't say Console Log made a mistake because he ended up winning the game, but the roaches deciding not to take down the hatch when they first moved in, trying to move into the natural, looked like he was getting a little greedy for a killing blow, and Cyril was able to deflect that first one. That could have been a big mistake for Console Log, but just continuing to flood roaches across the map, and Cyril unable to keep up, and it led to a victory.
Yeah.
So with that, Red Hatlings are going to fall to 1-2 on the season, while Lingstagram goes to 2-1. This was our first match between Red Hat and Facebook in the history of CEA. So hopefully Red Hatlings get a chance to redeem themselves in the future against another Red Hat team. Any final thoughts, Patch?
I mean, generally it was a good series. Like I said, I'm always rooting for my team and everything, but from a casting standpoint, it was great to cast, great to watch. Glad you guys allowed me to come and hang out today since I wasn't on the roster. It was really fun to be on this side of things when I can. And
we're always appreciative when Red Hat can put in a good showing, even though it's a loss. 1-2, maybe a little bit more disappointing than we wanted, but still playing really good Starcraft. Everybody on the Red Hat team looking very strong, giving us some good looking Starcraft to enjoy on our Saturday afternoon. Not entirely quarantined, but we are excited to continue to bring this to you every week. 3 p.m. Saturday Eastern, noon Pacific. Tune in again next week as we go to week number 4. We will be sure to get you that matchup as soon as it's live. I am Eagle Searcher, joined on the couch by Patch.
Yep, we have Big Desano and Damn Glam here with us. Thanks again to the person behind the scenes, Damn Glam, running the camera, running the streaming. As being the guy who's done that before, I know it's a really intense job. You got to keep up with a lot of things going on. And you got to find ways to tell your casters when and where things are happening. So
that's right. Everybody here doing a great job, and I'm just talking. But until then, we'll see you next week. GG.
GG.
GG.